Here at RFS Aged Care Advice, we see all kinds of situations of people moving into aged care. Sometimes it's a remarkably complex family situation with a second marriage and children from two different partners. Sometimes it's a single person. Sometimes there are lots of financial means and sometimes very few. But chances are, whatever your circumstance, we've probably seen it before because we've helped hundreds of people through this journey of aged care. Recently we had the privilege of helping Mr. and Mrs. Jones, not their real names obviously. Mrs. Jones had been caring for Mrs. Jones in the home for a number of years. She developed dementia at a fairly young age, and they are self-funded retirees. After some time of caring for Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones's health actually began to suffer and he began to experience what we call carer's stress. And quite often this is a very detrimental thing for the carer because their own health starts to deteriorate and they start to have health complications themselves. So the family decided it was time for Mrs. Jones to actually enter permanent residential aged care where she could be cared for in an appropriate manner, and Mr. Jones could then actually regain some of his health at home. So we assisted the Joneses to formulate a financial plan that would allow them to not only pay for Mrs. Jones's care fees in aged care, but also for Mr. Jones to be able to keep the home and actually have a decent lifestyle. In the process of actually placing Mrs. Jones into care, they paid a refundable accommodation deposit, or a RAD, and that actually meant that Mr. and Mrs. Jones could actually become eligible for the age pension. They never expected that they would ever be eligible for the age pension, but because of the fact that the refundable accommodation deposit is not accessible for the age pension, they both became eligible for a part age pension. So this is just one case in many that shows what the difference between not getting advice and actually getting some good advice can make.